Okay, good evening, everyone. Can you hear us here from the town hall? Maybe a thumbs up, Michelle? Thumbs up? Okay, thank you very much. So I'll kick off the meeting and call it to order at 6:04 PM. It looks like we have, for the selectmen, we have Amy St. Ange. I see Ken Bouzoulet is here, and is Suzanne joining?
She is joining. Yeah, she's just
Suzanne,
not here yet.
Suzanne will be joining us. And for the Board of Finance, Dave and Rob are here in the room. I see Steve online.
Brian's here.
I see
Rob.
Brian online. Good evening, Brian. And I think Nikki's on her way, either online or here. She's a few late. But we have
I'm online.
Great, Nikki. Thank you. So we have 5 from the Board of Finance. Next on the agenda will be citizens' comments. There's no citizens in the room. Are there any citizens online with a comment? Valerie Clark has her hand up. Valerie, please state your name and address, please.
Valerie Clark, Elm Road. Just a couple of quick things on the minutes. There was someone listed as not attending the meeting last time, and I don't know who that person is, so I think maybe the name needs to be corrected. The other item is on the calendar upcoming. It says that there's a meeting on Monday. I believe Monday's a holiday. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Valerie. Could you clarify your first comment? Because I don't see that.
In the minutes?
I have them in front of me. If you could be more specific, I could follow. Sorry, Valerie.
I believe there are 2 people listed who weren't there.
Correct?
Yep. And I think one of them was Brian Lynch, right?
Correct?
And I'm not.
Yep. And the other one is Donald Johnson. Who's that?
Okay, understood. I wasn't looking at the names. I thought somebody was marked not present that was present. So I was confused. Thank you, Valerie. We'll take that up. We're going to approve minutes at the next meeting, since these are so close and back to back. Also, my notes show that the next meeting is next Tuesday.
I have the 19th, which is Monday.
That's right. I have Monday, the 19th. Yeah, Monday, Thursday next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were aware that.
Oh, you canceled the, oh, that's this.
We were aware that it was a holiday, but in trying to work with Bill's schedule as well, because he's doing both that and the Board of Selectmen.
Only so many evenings in a week.
Exactly.
No, I think we're good. Any other citizen comments? Citizen comments are still open. Citizen comment. Okay, unless there's any objection, I thought it worked out really well. I was remote last week, but I thought it worked out well with a quick pause after each department. That if someone does have a comment on that department, as long as we try to keep them relatively short and pointed, that will be great. And just one other order of business, the Board of Finance regular meeting this Thursday is canceled, basically because of all the activity around the budget season, and we have one item that we need to address. So rather than getting the group together yet a 5th time in a couple of weeks, we're going to take that up on Monday, the 19th. We'll have a quick meeting from 6 to 6:15, and then the joint meeting will start at 6:15 on Monday for the budget workshops. There's no other citizens' comments. I don't see any. We'll move into budget presentations. We'll move into budget presentation. Steve, if you don't mind muting just while you're off, it's a little loud.
Oh, sure.
Thank you, sir. First up would be the town clerk, Renee Waldron. Is Renee online?
Yes, I am.
Hello, Renee. It's all yours.
Good evening, and I hope you all had safe travels into town hall for those of you who had to drive in. So my budget's pretty simple. You'll see the increases are in the salary, and that's the recommended percentage by finance that we were to put in. And the vital statistics that we had in there for $100 was we used to have to pay Putnam to send us birth and deaths that happened in the hospital because they did so many. So throughout the state, if a community like Putnam, a hospital town, has to send you 12 or more, they bill you. Under 12, we don't bill each other, because if somebody passes in Thompson that lived in Putnam, then we will send that to, well, we used to have to send it to Putnam. Now both births and deaths are online. So this sharing of, or sending vitals to all the different towns is only happening for marriages, because that's not all online yet. So that's why we're taking the $100 out. The other thing I would touch on is, you see we have the record restoration for 5,000 that has not been spent yet. That project will be happening this spring. I have it up online if you care to see it. It's basically what we're doing is we're digitizing our land records, are only digitized from 1939 and forward. We're going back. We're going to go 1785 to 1938 and have that digitized. So that's what I'm using those funds for. And for next year, we have to scan and microfilm and all our minutes. So we have a batch of minutes that will be going to get done. And then we also have more old vital books that are they're bound vital books, so it's hard to make copies, and they need some preservation. So we've been working a program really since Rachel, and I just continue to do so many of those every year. And so that's what the upcoming 5,000 will be used for. And that's about it for me.
We like simple. Thank you, Renee. Any questions for Renee, or any questions on the department? Okay, thank you, Renee.
No, thank you.
Next up
Robert,
is-
just one question. Renee,
Yes, Brian.
on vital statistics, advertising. You asked for, I think, am I reading that right? $2,000, and it was knocked down to 600. Am I reading that right?
I'm following.
Mhm.
What's the projection? Yeah, that's for the current year, the projection, because I don't know why that seems a little high. I don't.
Yeah, it just stood out when you look across the board.
Well, the projection does. I'll have to go back at that, but you know, though it fluctuates depending on if there's a presidential.
right. Yeah, Yeah.
And you know what, Brian, that's a good point. I'm going to go back and relook at that line altogether, because we have primaries we have to advertise, and then well, the general will be in November, but well, yeah, so the primaries will be in the current budget, and
Right.
then the presidential will be in the next. But I'll look at that to just double check those
Okay,
numbers.
yeah, it just kind of stood out, kind of odd.
Yeah, it
That's
certainly does.
not a problem. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. It's a good call out. So we'll have a follow up on that one.
I will
Next-
do.
Next up is Board of Selectmen. Looks like Amy St. Ange, you have quite a few rolling down for B, C, D, E, and F.
I am going to lean on my wonderful assistant, Marie. I know she was having a tough time getting in. Didn't look
I'm
like-
here.
Oh, great.
Is there?
All right, so Marie is the gatekeeper of all of these line items. So I am going to defer this to her. Marie, you can take it away.
All right, thanks. Good evening, everyone. As we do usually, salaries for second and third selectmen, nothing is put in at this time. That's something that's decided down the road. Annual and special town meetings, we've left flat. The reason that we still have money in the budget for this year is that that we have not gone into advertise, we have not had to advertise for the annual town meeting or the referendums. So that this year's money will be spent, but we're figuring it's going to be even for next year. Let's see, town dues and memberships. The reason that has gone up is there are basically four things that are in that. It's NECOG, the Chamber of Commerce, the Thompson Business Association, and the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities. Last year, we decided not to join the CCM, which is about $6,000, but we put in that we would review it this year. CCM has asked to present that to you, and we'll be doing that on one of the other nights. But that is where that extra $6,000 is coming from. It would have been closer to flat without that. And that's everything for the Board of Selectmen. Any questions?
Just one for me again. Salaries, nothing for the first selectman?
They'll
The
make-
first selectman comes out of the first selectman's budget, not the Board of
Oh,
Selectmen's
okay,
budget.
all right, okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
And Marie, this is Rob. On the town dues and memberships, do we know why we dropped it and therefore why we're adding it? Like, what's the benefit there? I'm just not familiar.
I'm happy to address. The Board of Selectmen last year had decided not to continue with our membership with CCM. It was not a unanimous decision. I believe it was 2-1, if I recall. CCM has requested we rejoin and they wanted to present to all of us. That's the only reason it got added back in, for our reconsideration. And we'll see what the Board of Selectmen chooses to do, and if it ends up in the hands of the Board of Finance to decide. That is the only reason. I just wanted the board to be aware, both boards to be aware that the request was made.
Okay.
Does the board itself, the Board of Selectmen, want this?
Well, I can't say that I would be in favor, but since CCM hasn't presented, this would be the first time that CCM has ever presented, to my knowledge. So I'm willing to at least listen to them. It is not my first inclination to rejoin personally, and I don't know how the other two selectmen feel.
So you'll take this up
Yep.
with the selectmen team,
Yeah, I think CCM is
After they present.
presenting on Monday.
and then we'll see it or not when
So-
you push.
We'll all
Our
be at
meeting,
least.
yeah.
Yeah, they'll be presenting to both the Board of Selectmen and the Board of.
Oh, on the Monday
Finance.
meeting.
Oh,
And the
Okay.
Monday meeting.
Perfect.
that's
Yeah.
good.
Okay. Any other
Yeah.
questions for the Board of Selectmen? Budget. I did not pause to ask citizen comments after town clerk.
It's okay.
So we're gonna double it up after this one. Marie, back to you on Board of Selectmen, on First Selectmen.
Okay, for first selectman, the first selectman's salary has not been adjusted, just as the second and third were not. The increase, the 2.25% increase that was recommended, we put into the budget for the other staff, has been included here. Travel, we have left static at $25. We have not had to use it. However, there were times when somebody did have to go to a meeting, town car wasn't available, so we left the $25 in there so that we have it.
Hey, Marie,
Yep,
it's Bill. Could I just jump in for just 1 second?
sure.
Because just to head off a question, on line 6, the HR director's salary, it looks like a significant decrease. That is actually a function of, it looks like when we budgeted for Michelle's position last year, we did it as a 50-50 split. It's actually 70-30. School town, the town is only 30%. So that's why it looks like a decrease, but if you net the math out, it's actually a 2.25% increase. And the school has picked up the other portion. Thanks, Marie.
Thanks for filling that part in. All right, for meetings and fees, the fee has gone up slightly because in addition to putting in the possible CCM fees in the Board of Selectmen budget. We have put in the CCM conference fees. Should we join, and the people that have typically gone to the conference go to the conference. It also includes membership to the ADA of Connecticut and their conference.
The next
For-
line is highlighted because there was a change from the initial sheets that were sent out. Michelle actually knocked $1,000 off of the vector training that's in that line, so that's why it's highlighted on the screen in yellow.
Okay, and for training, Michelle, I believe, is going to address the training line.
Would you like her to do that right now, Marie?
Yes, yes, please.
All right, Michelle.
I saw her earlier. Michelle, you're on mute.
Of course I am. Sorry about that, everybody. Amy, do you have my little PowerPoint right there?
Oh, yeah, let me pull it up. Sorry about that. I'm gonna stop
Yeah,
sharing.
sure.
Nope.
Sure.
So Vector Training Solutions is an online training platform that I have researched with the school's partnership for the last couple of years. The school unfortunately did not put it in their budget this year, but I feel for the town it is it will be a benefit for us to have it. So
I'm working on it, Michelle. Just give me a second.
okay.
Okay. All right.
There we go. You can go to page 2 right away.
I don't do slide presentations.
So Vector Training Solutions covers OSHA and compliance, office productivity, and human resources. Next slide.
Next slide.
I'm sorry.
In the OSHA and training compliance, these are some of the highlighted training courses that would be covered. There's probably about 60 training courses in total for this specific platform, including ADA, back injury protection, bloodborne pathogen safety, lockout, tagout. It gives our DPW workers the opportunity to do an OSHA 30 training, which is 30 hours long. Plus, it will cover slip, trips, and fall prevention, fire extinguisher safety, and general first aid. I would like to put together a comprehensive training plan for all of our town employees so that every year they are trained. Some trainings would be every 3 years, but most of them would be every single year. I worked in corporate for 21 years, and every May we did compliance training month. I feel it would benefit our town to make sure that their safety and their prevention for all things are in the front of their mind every year before they start major seasons like their road work season in the summertime. Next slide.
Oh, yeah, that's a long time. Can you see that, Michelle?
Yes, can you
Okay.
hit the next slide now,
Oh, the next one after that. Okay.
please?
Sorry.
That's all right.
I don't know if, Michelle, are you seeing the same slide?
I am seeing the same slide still.
No, just hit escape.
Oh,
Just
okay.
hit escape. Yeah, something's going on.
Okay.
I'll just keep going then. So the office productivity and business skills slide talks about communication essentials. There's 6 different training platforms for different communications. There's training platform for conflict resolution. We do know that our directors sometimes have a conflict with their staff, or with our staff have a conflict with their director. So it would be nice to have training so that they understand how to manage those conflicts in a productive way where everybody can find a resolution. Improving work habits. We all know that sometimes we can get detoured when we're sitting at our desks. So this would be improving our work habits. Supporting change. Nobody likes change, but this will help. There's 6 modules on supporting change and change in structure. Managing people for our directors, especially our newer directors or directors who've never managed people. This would be beneficial for them completely so that they understand the processes of managing people and the nuances that come with directing people in their positions. Effective discipline. If we have to discipline a worker, it would be nice to be able to have those conversations in a manner that's both respectful for the manager, the director, as well as the employee. Performance management is definitely something Amy and I have been working towards for the last couple of years. We would like to eventually put in a performance appraisal system, understanding that it has nothing to do with salary or raises, but everybody deserves to know where they stand in their job. I value my performance appraisals because it gives me an opportunity to grow. And that I would like to do that for all of our town workers. And then Microsoft Essentials. I actually found out a couple weeks ago that there are a couple people in our town hall offices that don't know how to use Microsoft Excel or struggle with our Outlook apps. So those would be really beneficial for them to be able to take when they have a little bit of downtime so that they can learn and they can grow in their positions. Next slide. And the last slide is more geared towards our directors, especially hiring practices, discipline and termination, and understanding employee leaves, because we do have people take leaves. In the diversity, equity, inclusion, those conversations are starting to get stronger and stronger in our workplaces. I know I'm doing a project with the school right now for diversity, equity, inclusion, and I'm sure that we'll start seeing stuff from the state come in for this, for that as well. Sexual harassment prevention, which is a training course that we have to take every 3 years. We do need a training course for this. It also gives us health and wellness, IT awareness, workplace stress. We all have workplace stress. It talks about customer service and as well as office safety. I went in earlier today and I was looking through the internet and I was looking through different training courses. We currently have 65 people on our staff that would need to take some training courses. I found the most least expensive training course for bloodborne pathogens. I found one for $24.95 each. That will equal out to almost $1,700 for us to pay for our people. Sexual harassment, the least expensive course I found was $20 a person. That would be $1,400. Health and wellness, I found one for $14.99. That would be over $1,000. And conflict resolution, again, $19.99, $1,400. Those 4 courses alone would equal out over $5,000, where this training platform encompasses 100 different trainings for $4,935. That's all I have. Thank you.
Is that a correction, Bill?
Hold on, just let me get back to my screen and I'll show it.
You left $120 in there for something else.
Right, yes, for what was in there previously. So that line.
Training 5055.
Right, that is the adjusted amount that Michelle requested.
Yes.
Plus $120 that was there previously.
Is that included in there?
Yes,
Okay.
yep,
So 53935 is out.
right, yep,
Okay.
That's in row 15.
yes.
Row 15 is 5055.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle, have you reached out to insurance or talked to particularly workers' comp, but is there any benefit, particularly on the OSHA side with
So
insurance?
I have used Travelers already to do the OSHA 10 training with our our DPW staff as well as our staff up at the school. We did have a training for them back in April. I had most of those workers attend. I still missed 5 workers who at this point I do not have a training for them because the class is so small. Bloodborne pathogen training. I asked for bloodborne pathogen training in November and we were supposed to do it tomorrow, but with the weather, we had to move it to April. It is free, but it's lacking for us. If we don't have a large enough class, it's hard to do. We're not encompassing everybody. But if we have this training program, it's on demand.
Yeah,
I go in, I set up their platform, I hit send, everything goes to their email, and they get reminders and they get goal dates and things so that we can keep track of it as well.
Yeah, no, thank you for that, Michelle. I was really more asking around, like, is there any benefit on the insurance side? Like, have you reached out on our workers' comp and would we get a reduction or a lower premium on our insurance if we had training documents that showed everyone had the adequate training? Maybe something worth looking at.
I will absolutely look into that tomorrow. I have to call them on something else anyway.
Michelle, this is Amy St.
Yes.
This is a yearly fee, right?
Yes.
Okay, not a one-time.
No.
Okay.
So Michelle, this is strictly online training?
Yes, strictly online training.
And so it's going to be on the employee to make sure they follow through, or how is there going to be the checks and balances to?
So
like
that would
for
be,
me,
that's
like for
on me.
me, yeah, like for me, if it's like lockout, tag out, I just say it's mandatory. They got to be there and they have to show up, and we'll have 15 people and then it's done. So they can take it whenever they want, or?
Well, we would assign it. So what I would like to do is, if we got this platform, we pick a month that seems to be relatively a low month, or we do it in different stages. So maybe we do a low month for the DPW where the guys are able to sit down and do a training, an afternoon of training courses. We schedule them so that they can sit down, they can do lockout, tag out, they can do bloodborne pathogens and sexual harassment and eye protection and fire extinguisher safety. We would plan it out as a comprehensive training program. But it's on me as the HR director, to ensure that everybody is being compliant. And this is on demand. So if we have a new person start, that we assign it to them during their training and their orientation, so that we're not starting them out without the basic safety skills or the basic training that they should have going into their positions.
Okay.
Does the cost, sorry, Brian, I thought you were done.
No, I'm just saying thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay. This is Nikki. Question for you. Is there a change in the fee dependent upon how many employees? So if for some reason we added 3 or 4 people or we filled every position, would the dollar amount change over time, or is it unlimited classes?
So for this particular training program, I actually had set them at 100 people for the OSHA training and for the employment. Let me just get the exact name. I'm sorry. The specific one for HR is only for directors, so that would be only 30 people that I gave access to. But the OSHA training and compliance and office productivity and business skills are set at 100 people each. I can tailor that down to a lower amount. Like I said, currently we have 65. I could go up to 70 or 80. I went to 100 when I first started this, but like I said, I can tailor it down as needed. I emailed the gentleman today to take off one whole suite of training, because when I really went back through it all over again, I found the courses that would be beneficial to our people are somewhat duplicated sometimes. So I took off an entire suite of training courses when I looked at it again today. When I went back through, everything is not duplicated. Everything is where it's supposed to be. So I would tailor it down, and I can do that next time. The gentleman was working from home, and I do know that he would have to send the quote back out to tailor it down if we wanted to include 80 people. We do flex up sometimes based on summer hiring for our recreation, and recreation should be doing these trainings as well. So we would need to take that influx as well.
Michelle, this is Ken.
Hi, Ken.
My question, I know you're tailoring this towards the town side employees with us for the OSHA, et cetera, but there is some duplication that on the school side, there are certain people that need certain courses. I would assume the custodial needs OSHA, et cetera. You would have like your bloodborne pathogens that would be across the school and the town all the way, along with the, and I'm just throwing out, sexual harassment, et cetera. So looking at this, just for your position doing 70-30, I'm just wondering if we tailor a program that covers both the school and the town side that makes sense, instead of having them go on their own doing one thing and we're doing one thing on our side, to keep it as.
I presented this to Melinda a couple weeks back before the budget season had started, and it just was not in their budget at this point. The school does have a OSHA-based training currently that I am not happy with. I find it lacking. I find there's technical difficulties on it, and it really isn't. It's really tailored towards school more than anything. They do have a sexual harassment video. It was done by a lawyer, but it is protected for school purposes. So, and it's again more tailored towards a school setting. I would like to do a comprehensive training program with the town, and then bring my results back to Melinda to open that line of conversation again.
Okay. Just one other thing that you may want to look at, our insurance advisor, which is HD Seeger. They have in the past come down and done various training for the town side. So you may be wanting, it's one of the services they provide. So you may want to look at what they're able to provide us on this as well.
Yes, like I said, I have already had them come and do OSHA last year, but we did not capture everybody. And now that we only have so few to capture, it's harder to do a course for them. Bloodborne pathogens, I had reached out to the trainer for HT Seeger and Travelers back in November, and he got back to me in the middle of January to schedule for bloodborne pathogens. And then we've had to cancel because of the weather this week. I have reached out and I have done my due diligence using the services that we have, but I feel that these will be beneficial for some of the concerns that have passed through my office in the last year, especially around conflict resolution, improving work habits, managing people, and effective discipline, especially. And then just having the OSHA, and especially having all of this at our fingertips again, so that we can A, create a comprehensive training program that is done yearly, and B, that we're ensuring that we're training our new staff right away before they begin their positions. I think would be extremely beneficial. I know that, and I can ask everybody out there who's worked in any type of position, do you start your jobs with training? I know that when I worked in corporate for Macy's, we would start everybody before they either hit the floor or hit the dock, or even, we're in our security offices. They would go through comprehensive training, either a day or two, or for security, they were in training for 5 days. I just think it would be beneficial for us.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
it's certainly quite a savings because I just presented my budget at the WPCA and my line item for training for half of the stuff here was almost $15,000. So, yeah, I think the hard part will be to make sure online that they attend online, but I think you did a great job trying to find something that would accommodate the town at a small amount of money. Quite frankly, I'm going to have to reach out to you to take a look at this.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And like I said, I can go back and I can tailor the numbers if you'd like and go down to 80 people versus 100 people on some of those to see if we can bring the number down a little bit if you'd like.
I mean, that might be helpful, Michelle. I think if, it's not number of employees, it's a number of hires. So if you replace a position, you've actually trained 2 in that year. So you're gonna need more than 65, but that may be helpful. And I agree with what Brian said. I have a similar, we do a similar online training as well where I am, and they're very interactive. There's a lot of video in them, and they're a requirement. Actually, the harassment is a requirement in the state of Connecticut for 2 hours.
Right. Exactly.
It's not just sexual harassment. There's a lot of different types of harassment. So these are important things to think about as we want to be compliant across the board. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Any questions or comments? Okay, back to Marie. That was
I'm sorry, are we done with all the lines on that?
No, I think
No.
Marie took a break just to allow Michelle to explain that one detailed section, line 15. I think it's back to Marie on Selectmen 1201.
Yes,
Gotcha.
it is. Hi, everyone. Okay, so for advertising, we've again left it flat. For this advertising line covers public hearings, legal notices, when we go out to bid for personnel for hiring, and then so that falls in that line, unlike the advertising that was in the Board of Selectmen. And then for printing and publications.
Before we move on, could I ask
Oh,
a
yes.
question about that?
Yes.
We've actually spent what looks like under $2,000 in 2022, roughly $3,000 in 23. I don't know if the current year 5,000, if that's a good number or not, but based on the 2 numbers that we have actuals for, the 2 years we have actual numbers for, this is a substantial increase over our actual spending. It's almost double what it was in 23. I wonder if we really need that much. And part of the question, I guess, is the 5,000 really what we're going to spend this year?
And again, it's based on whether we have to have public hearings or town meetings. If those don't end up happening, some of those ads won't happen. If there are no hirings that have to go in for personnel, or if we're not going out to bid on anything, that number would be much lower, Steve. I agree with you.
I guess we've had those items in the past, though, and we haven't spent anywhere near that much. That's the question, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Amy, would you like to have us reduce this line?
Well, we're not it's just a presentation for at
correct.
this point. So yeah, we'll move on. It'll, if anybody within the Board of Selectmen or Board of Finance wants to make notes on that line item to revisit, that's what this is all about. So.
I mean, it may be, to Steve's question, it may be helpful if Bill could just check the 24 projection is 6,000.
Yep.
And if we really actually achieve that, then that may, as far as Steve looking at the history, that would be more of an actual if. you
I
could
believe
press
the
on that.
projection was developed base, and I'll look at the details offline after, but I think it was similar along the lines of what Michelle just mentioned, that this is, I'm sorry, not Michelle. Marie. Marie had explained that we don't know upfront which of these meetings or advertisements are happening. So I think that's why we went with the $6,000 projection.
Back to you, Marie.
Okay, for printing and publication. So what happened for both that line and the office supply line is that somehow last year, we neglected to ask Michelle what she needed in those line items. So when, as things that she needed to be paid for, it's going to take us up over budget in that line this year. And so we had to increase it for the coming year as well. So those were labor law posters, business cards that are printed for staff. And so they had been paid out of supplies last year, but it all should have come out of printing and publications. So that's why the number is where it is. The 24 projection, where did it go? Printing and publication. Projection is, okay. Yeah, so I asked Michelle what she believed she would need in it, and combining what we have spent in the past with what she believes she'll need, that's the number that we came up with, the 1,025. Moving down to office supplies, we pretty much stayed standard with the exception that we put in HR supplies for Michelle. Yeah, so that's the office supply line. The miscellaneous line, we have to pay a lease to the Providence Worcester Railroad every year of about $380. And then the rest of the money is tagged as sundries, should anything come up that needs to be paid for. It really hasn't in the past years, but we've left it at 400. We could reduce it to the 388 if we wished, but we've basically allowed it to sit at 400. And I believe that is it for that first selectman's budget.
Amy,
Yes.
what about your desk? I didn't hear that mentioned.
What desk?
I have stand-up
That
desk.
is for HR. That would be for the HR director.
Okay.
So.
Yes,
HR
Michelle,
director
Michelle asked
is-
for a stand-up desk.
Stand-up desk,
Okay, it wasn't mentioned and they're trying to,
justified.
well, they're bouncing the figures back between printing and office supplies, and it just didn't add up. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Probably makes sense to look at both those items together. We spent $1,343 in 24, or that's the expectation, I guess. And we want to spend $1,675 this coming year.
Okay, was that a question, Steve, or just a general comment?
No, it's just an observation, I guess. It's what's that,
observation.
about a 20% increase or something, 15% increase?
Okay. Anything else for this section?
The only thing I would mention on this is I think it's probably appropriate to include salary changes for all the personnel, all the selectmen, include the first selectman.
Okay. Don't need to get deep into it, but just a comment from me, I'm seeing the world moving away from business cards. The town hall doesn't need to, but something to chat about. Folks are going with these electronic cards, and then they just go right into the phone. So we stopped printing them because environmental and other things.
I love it.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Fantastic. Tell me more later.
Okay, maybe save a few
Rob?
dollars.
Yeah, I agree.
Rob?
Yes.
I agree with Steve. I mean, you should have, if there's going to be an increase in the salaries for the selectmen first and the selectmen, we should see that in here because it's not a true accurate of the total that's in each of this
Yeah, it's a fair comment and follow on, but I do believe that the selectmen are going to meet, when we're done with these four sessions, the selectmen as a team are going to meet and make modifications that they would like to. Then it will be sent to the Board of Finance and we'll have, these are the joint meetings for the presentations and we'll have that separate time. So I would expect Brian and Steve that when we get the packet, it'll either be in there or not based on selectmen's recommendation, right?
If I could.
Yep, go ahead, Bill.
I don't agree with this for the record. However, I did consult the selectmen, and they had mentioned to keep it the same prior. So there's some basis for its presentation right here. Once again, I don't agree with that basis.
So
I'm with
it wasn't an oversight.
And with Brian. No, it wasn't an oversight.
And I will point out that at last year's meeting, I believe that it was addressed as far as the first selectman's salary, and it was voted down. So.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
combination
So
of
we will
those
likely
items.
keep it that way.
Okay, I think we're moving on to data processing and we're still with Marie. Excuse me.
Yes.
Oh, we're gonna do that at the end of this section.
Gotcha.
Cause it's,
Gotcha.
Okay. I also have asked Heather Burns to jump on for some of the areas that I might not have as much information as she does, but we'll get started. For data processing supplies, we've gone up slightly just because the price of paper and printer cartridges and all of that has gone up. For training, we've dropped it down to 10. Right now, there hasn't really been a need for me to do any type of training. So that has been dropped down as just a placeholder. For professional services, includes this Zoom platform. It also covers Canva, which is an art, a program that's used for creative materials, posters and flyers and brochures and that sort of thing. And then Apex was also part of this, and that included server maintenance, the email filtering that we use. So that, yes, okay. And the reason that it went down is that we finished the server upgrade this year, so we're not going to need to include that for next year. We will, however, need an update the year after. So that's why that number went down. For lease management, that includes the Munis system. It includes Quality and Vision, which are used by the assessor and the tax office. School IT, our Action Blueprint map printer. And then this year, and then general code was also added to this. And the numbers have gone down. And it was primarily because in the tax and the assessor's office, when I was given the details on some of this IT stuff, it included pieces of the bills that are paid actually by the assessor and the tax office that did not come out of IT. So I pulled that out for this year's budget.
and did that go somewhere else or do we not need it any longer?
We don't need it because the tax office and the assessor's office are paying.
It moved.
They're basically paying for the
Doesn't need it
printing
on
of the bills that they send out.
I
And
get
that's
it.
not an IT function, which is why they've been paying it, but I did not realize they were paying it.
Thank you.
Okay. And then for website maintenance, Civic Plus is the company that does the town's website. And then we also use HostGator, which does our cloud hosting. And we estimated about a 5% increase for each of those. For software, that includes access to Office 365 and also for all of the email licenses for the town staff. And that's, that has gone up. Adobe Financial, which is used by the finance office, we're estimating a 5% increase. And the same thing with Adobe Pro, which we have for some employees who make use of it in order to create fillable forms, for example, or more advanced types of things than can be done with a regular Office 365 license. And then software updates, we're leaving it at 10. It's a placeholder because in 2025, the SQL server updates will need to, a server update will need to be done then, which is a different server from what we just did. Any questions?
Nope.
If I might, just want to make sure that you're actually showing, for example, on lease maintenance for computer equipment, you're actually showing a decline. I want to make sure that that makes sense. A decline from what we're actually spending this year.
Lease, yes, that's where the tax office and the assessor's office paid for a portion of quality which IT had put in to pay for that we don't have to.
I'm sorry, so this year it was spent in the tech department as opposed to.
Oh,
those-
actually, you are absolutely right, Steve. I'm sorry. No, that they did pick up that cost. So it should have been, I guess I'll have to look at that line. Or Heather, are you there?
Yes,
It
I'm
could
here.
be, it could be that the projection's off a little bit, that may explain it, but.
I just have to take a moment to, I'm starting a Zoom meeting for the Inland Wetlands Committee, so I will be right back as soon as I transfer that over. If Heather is there, if you have other questions.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful, Bill, if like for those two line items, if a portion of that reduction is showing up somewhere else. If we just put a note, because then it just, maybe net neutral, it may be net higher, but right now it looks like it's a reduction, and then later we need to link it somewhere else. So putting things in the right department, in the right category makes a lot of sense, but the year you do it, when you reallocate, it can be a little confusing.
Hey,
I have a
Heather, are you there?
similar concern on the website maintenance where, in the other direction though, where it looks like we're going up 10.74%, but given what we're spending this year, assuming the projection's close to being right, we're going up much more than that. So just a question.
Hi, this is Heather. I
Hey,
believe for
Heather.
the, hi,
Sorry.
I believe for the website services, there were some more security features and some updating that, they recommended that we do. So it wasn't too much of a choice. I think that's why we're seeing the increase there.
Is the current year number reasonable? Is it 2,900? Do you think the current year?
Where is that?
And
That's the
maybe your
FY
estimate for the current year is too low.
I'm not entirely sure on that. I'd have to probably get with Marie on that.
So we'll check on that.
Yep.
Heather, can you explain in greater detail for me? This is Amy Sinon. What happened with vision and quality? Did last year did some amount that tax office and assessor paid for get put into this budget as well as their budget, or you're not, or can you not answer that?
Yeah, I'm not sure on that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more of a Marie question. But we
Or
we
check
can
with
add
Paul
that.
and.
Yeah.
Paul and-
Because I know Marie spent some time vetting that, so.
Right. So we can look at the numbers on that as well. I'm sorry about the delay, everybody. She had to start.
Yeah, it's okay. Can we go to the next one or?
Okay, I'm back. I'm
Yay,
back. Thank you.
thanks, Marie.
Okay.
I think, unless there are any other questions, Maria, I think we closed out. There's a couple of follow-up actions on data processing, but unless there's any other questions, I think we can move to town council. Everyone good there? Okay, Marie, we'll move to town council.
All right, for town council, we just made one increase to legal labor, and that is because union negotiations are happening for fiscal 25.
Any questions on town council?
What contracts will
I'm sorry, we didn't have in
be
24 then?
negotiating?
We did not.
One second, Steve. Dave had the floor. Good, Dave.
Sure.
Thank you. What contracts will we be negotiating in the next fiscal year?
So we're actually just beginning the negotiations I think there was some concern because the projection is so high. And I didn't see that. So Marie and I went back and forth as to whether or not the negotiations are beginning next week. I suspect because of the climate amongst the union, representative that's working with our union, that we're going to need the attorney to be jumping in a little bit more than we had at the last negotiations. But we really made the increase because the projection was so high. So maybe we can look a little bit closer at that projection and make sure that we're not going to be too low with the 5,000.
Will do.
Okay. Steve, I know it's hard sometimes with both remote and live, so you're up.
I think Amy just adjusted. It's the 24 projection says you're going to spend roughly 10,000. You're really not increasing it by 5. It's the same.
Yep, and the notice Bill's gonna look at that and verify that.
Yep.
Any further questions on town council? Super. Town hall building, are we staying with Marie, Amy?
Yes.
Staying with Marie. Back to you, Marie.
Okay. All right, so, maintainer custodian, the standard salary increase that we put in for everybody else is there. For travel, we've reduced it, but have left a small amount in there because there are times when the maintainer has to go and pick something up and it won't fit in the vehicle that we have, so that they use their own truck. But as you can see, it really hasn't been used much at all, but that's what that line item is in for. For cleaning services, for the 24 budget, we have not yet scheduled to have the office carpeting cleaned, and that is something that's supposed to happen this year for the first floor, and then it will be the second floor next year. For telephone, that includes the Frontier alarm lines and the fax, and we've left that static. We're not expecting it to go up any further. Internet charges, there has been a rate increase there, and that was worked into that new figure. The postage, the rate is increasing. For electricity, this information Bill gave me, but basically, although we've locked in a rate for electricity, it's the delivery piece that's uncertain right now. So that's why the number is static at the moment. So even though the price went down, we don't know if it's really going to go down overall.
Correct, sorry, Marie.
No, go ahead.
As you guys probably see on your home electric bill, the supply portion is only roughly half of the bill. So we actually had I think it was just under a 3 cent per kilowatt hour savings by locking in, and that was a joint contract with the school and the town. So thanks to Amy and Bill Birch for teaming up on that, like we did on fuel and oil also. But there's still uncertainty there because of the other part of the bill. Thanks, Marie.
You're welcome. All right, let's see, where are we?
Heating.
Fuel, we're locked in at $2.99 a gallon for the 5,200 gallons we use approximately. For service contracts, this covers the alarm system and the security alarm monitoring, as well as fire testing. The elevator company's maintenance contract is in that, as well as all the fire equipment being tested and replacement of parts and that sort of thing. So that's for the service contracts. The building repairs and maintenance. That inspections, repairs, service calls, all is wrapped in there. We're pretty sure fees are going to go up. So we bumped it up to 15,000.
We're looking at
I might add-
26,000 this year.
The elevator, I'm sorry.
Again, that's
That's a
projection.
projection.
We're
Projection.
slowing back. We had, sorry, Marie, I'm just gonna jump in.
Yep.
Mr. Johnson had a question about the projection. We had a major repair that had to be done on the chimney. Literally, it needed to be
Mhm.
repointed. It was almost going to collapse. And then, so that was a major, an unexpected repair. I don't suspect, you never know what's gonna happen in the future, but I don't suspect that projection is going to be reached. I don't know of any other major projects. Again, you never know when something might fail. Additionally, we also had the leak over the elevator room that had to get repaired, even though we haven't done any of the other elevator repairs. That did get done. And then we also had to pay $1,600 for the TK elevator to come out and inspect and give us the quote. So those were things that we haven't had in the past. I don't anticipate another major event, but you never know. I do not think that projection is gonna come to fruition, but that's my personal opinion.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Marie, back to you.
Sorry,
Okay.
Amy.
Oh, sorry,
Mike.
I think Steve's gonna jump in. Steve?
I'm sorry, was the elevator repair in the current year number, or is it in next year's number, or is it somewhere else?
Neither.
Yeah, but
Neither at this point. I am negotiating. I do have good news as far as bringing TK Elevator, who is our elevator contractor, down to a reasonable price. Which I'm gathering all that information for both the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance, but the elevator repair will be in this year's budget, not next year's.
Thank you.
But obviously cannot come out of that line item.
No, that's a capital.
Right.
Yes.
What was repaired and what was in here is
Correct.
is what caused the damage to begin with.
Correct.
Got it. Okay, Marie, back to you.
Okay. Exterminator went up slightly due to their rate increase. The copier postage rental remained the same because we're on a 3-year lease with them. The water sewer charges, that's for sewer at Town Hall, Riverside Park, Main Street, and water for Town Hall and the rec building. And with Bill's assistance, we're looking at about a 15% increase is what we figure. For office supplies, we're going to drop that down. We have not been spending the 1,000, so just looking to bring it down to 500. Custodial supplies, we've gone up slightly because we're expecting probably a 5% increase there as well.
Okay, any further questions or comments on the town hall building? Okay, we'll move to human services.
Okay.
Begin with you, Marie.
Yep. All right. So for human services, I'm going to be skipping some of them because a number of them are making presentations to you on one of the other dates. So the ones that that I'm going to cover are the ones that are listed there. So for community kitchens, last year they requested 1,500, I believe. Yes. And they're requesting the same thing this year. For the access agency, they fall under the miscellaneous. There's actually 6 different organizations that fall under that miscellaneous programs category. So the access agency received 1,000 last year. They're requesting the same this year. For SACC, that's the Sexual Assault Crisis Center. And again, they asked for 100 last year and they've done the same for this year. For the last Green Valley, last year they received 250. This year they're looking for 500. And QBSCC, Quinnebog Valley Senior Citizens.
If that helps you.
Quinnebog Valley Senior.
Take that home.
Oh, Bill, you put all my numbers in there. I didn't realize
Yep.
you did that.
Here you go, Marie.
Okay.
I appreciate that. that level of detail, thank you.
Well, I added a column that was what they got last year, but you already have that. So, yeah, I'm sorry. So the Quinebaug Valley senior citizens, they received 200 last year. They're asking for 250. So that is everything for human services. The others will all be presenting to you at another time.
So what's driving the 1,800? I saw
Yeah.
250.
I've got
was accounted
300.
for. 300 was accounted for. Do we know the
Oh,
other
what are the other
1,500?
programs?
Must be something else there.
I'm sorry, for what?
Well,
So there's an increase in that line item, Marie. I think it could be a combination of Day Kimball, DKH at home, where the increases were in the line.
Right, and those are people that are going to be presenting separately,
Right.
so I don't have that information.
I
Yeah.
understand. I thought
Yeah.
it was other line items separately.
Right.
Topics inside this line item
Yeah.
separately.
So there.
Got it.
So
a
in
few at the-
addition to some of these agencies asking for more, there's Eastern Connecticut Land Bank potentially asking for more, and Day Kimball DKH at home possibly.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
Eastern Connecticut Land Bank is asking for more from 3950 to 5,000. And
Yeah.
Day Kimball from 1,500 to
that's
2,000, but you'll
1,500.
be hearing from them.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, just on the top, there's some major
Yep.
increases. Are those going to be reviewed separately?
they are presenting to you. Yes, Northeast District of Health is coming in, United Services is coming in, Teague is coming in. Let's see, TVCCA is coming in. And then a few of those miscellaneous.
Okay, so this one we're going to revisit.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you. We'll move on to celebrations.
This is very simple. It's for the Memorial Day Parade and the Veterans Day Parade, and they're asking for the same this year as they received last year.
Mhm.
Super. Any questions about celebrations? Okay. Next is fringe benefits. So we're gonna pause here. We went through town clerk and then a list of other topics related to selectmen and town hall. So let's take a pause and see if anyone online or in the room, any citizen have a comment that they'd like to make on any of these categories. Any comments from citizens? And you can back up to any of the categories we covered, A through G. A through H, sorry, A through H. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to fringe benefits. I think
All right.
that goes with the Bill and Marie. Are we staying with Marie?
Yes. So Bill and
See-
Marie,
Bill and Marie.
we'll team up on different lines, but I think I got the first few, right, Marie?
Yes, the only one
Uh,
I have, go ahead.
Oh, if you want to go ahead and knock yours out, go ahead, Marie.
The only one that I cover is the Employee Assistance Program line. And that is, it gives employees the opportunity to access loads of free services and online programs that they can get information for raising your teenager, or how to just on a range of topics from work life to mental health, physical health, eating, finances. They have access to a free attorney consultation. They have access to mental health services that are free, and then access to all of those sorts of programs and 24/7 online access for emergency situations where they might need to speak with someone. It's relatively inexpensive, and this covers town employees. So library, town hall, DPW.
And do we know how much it's used? Sounds like a silly question, but sometimes these legacy programs go on and.
Oh, you know what? That's a very good question. I will look at that tomorrow
Did Michelle
and
go?
I can get back to you.
She did have to go in there. I
She
didn't.
did.
see
Oh,
it.
okay.
Thank
She
you,
might-
Marie.
Marie, do we also, it's EAP that does the when we have the seminars here that the staff can
Oh,
attend.
yes,
That's the
yes. Yeah, that is the EAP. We also hold 4 to 6 seminars a year that are open to everybody. And it's based on a catalog of about 300 courses that people can take. And we do a questionnaire. We ask the town staff what sorts of things they're interested in that would be helpful to them. And we put those seminars on during the year.
What do you remember what some of those have been in the past?
So one piece of paper I'm not seeing.
No worries. I just can't remember. They're
Right, like
they're nifty
five,
topics.
5
Oh.
essential documents. So
Right.
talking about the 5 things you should have, at home, safe somewhere, what those documents are. We've done, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm
okay.
just
Okay.
not remembering them off the top of my head. But I can definitely look at usage for you.
Thank you, Marie. Bill?
Okay, so going back to the top of the page, longevity payments are part of the contract for union employees here. This number 6675 is actually worked up based on our current employee base times their expected payment. Health and life insurance, we have actually taken the same approach as you may recall from last year. This is a very specific look, coverage levels by employee. And you'll note that it's actually down from year to year, which is very unusual. And the reason being that we've actually had 2 more people come off coverage that have joined. It's enough to offset the, at this point, projected 5% rate increase. A little history there. When we started this process, Michelle and I were working with the insurers and they were projecting 7 to 8%. So that's what the original projection was at both the school and the town. They have since eased off that a bit to 3 to 5%, and we expect the final number. So as consistent with the past, I've always used the top end of the range that we're given. So this is expecting a 5% increase. Full disclosure, when I saw that this was originally a $40,000 to $50,000 decrease, I included an extra employee in there, budgeted for potential changes at a family level. So it's about a $30,000 item. Just because it gives me the heebie-jeebies, frankly, that would drop that much. So that's something you should flag for future discussions, but that's something that is in that calculation. So it's about $36,000 of, I'd call it conservatism that's baked into that number. And I added that into the notes on the spreadsheet. So for full transparency.
So the drop was closer to 40, you offset
Right.
it with 30 for
Right.
something that may drop in during the year, so the net
Exactly.
drop was 10.
Right.
Thank you, Bill.
Because we had 2 more folks leave than
Yep.
join, we may have another ad.
Yep.
And I felt that was prudent. Line 5 is highlighted because this is the CMERS contribution for the town. Similar to last year, we don't get the potential rate increase until March, or at least that's when we got it last year. So I kept a 2% increase, so I wanted to keep that highlighted so that people would know that that's a more drafty number, if you will, than some of the others. FICA and Medicare, I increased by the 2.25% expected raise. Unemployment compensation, I've kept it the same. That budget line hasn't been tapped. This is another one where we just don't know year to year what's going to happen. So historically, we've budgeted $5,000 there. Workers' comp, the increase, if I remember right, this was right from our insurer. Let me check. Yes, that 7% rate increase was right from HT Seeger. So that's what we're budgeting there.
So is that the one, Bill, we can go back with Michelle and say, if we
Right.
approve the training,
Yes.
would they consider a different rate? 'Cause that's all
That's the
rate
line,
driven based
right.
on performance.
Based on employee levels, there is some mix that gets involved there because let's
Classification.
face it, the guys at the DPW are
That's how they classify it.
doing death-defying stuff every day, whereas me sitting at my desk, not so much. So it's really, and actually it's interesting that we're talking about that right now. The audit is underway that we get audited by the carrier every year.
Mhm.
And that audit actually is underway right now. It's something that Paul is working on. That just kicked off this week.
Have we had any claims recently? A little while back, there was
Last
one.
claim
Workers'
review.
comp?
Yeah, workers' comp. I can't they were all pretty
Rem-
seasoned.
Just
if
a
I remember.
reminder that we also cover the fire departments under workers' comp. So there have been some claims under the fire departments.
Yeah, knee injuries and the like. Okay. Yeah, I think we have a claim review coming up
Yes,
shortly.
yeah, I think next week.
On workers' comp, retirement and severance benefits, this is another one similar to unemployment compensation. You're never quite sure, so we have historically budgeted, the 20,000. Marie covered line 12, the employee assistance program. Professional services, we have a jump here, and this is due, and this is highlighted, because this number, came in from the actuary today. There is an actuarial valuation on our other pension employee benefits plan, that happens every other year. And that 13,275, was from Steve Lemansky, who's the actuary that, we work with. So that's his actual expectation, for his work that relates to the town, for next year. Municipal insurance line 22. Once again, that's a 12% expected rate increase from HD Seeger. The bonds portion is actually, the bonding of our employees that's actually covered under, I believe it's called our crime policy. And that increase, is actually the percentage increase we expect from HD Seeger, excuse my funky clicking around there, which is at 12%. And I applied that to our projected 2024 amount, because there was a higher than expected increase in the, and you can see that in the projection line. I think that gets us through. Everything else is totals.
Yeah, Bill, I didn't track the 13,275. Maybe you changed that, line 24.
Yes, line 23.
I mean, line 23.
Yeah, it's highlighted because that number came in this afternoon after I sent the pages around to everyone.
Got it. That's why I don't see it. Okay.
Yeah.
23, was it?
20, it's, did I not number those lines? It's professional services.
You gotta
So
go,
that's
you gotta
the
go
line
to
a
the
little more
left.
to the
It's a
left.
different number.
Line 16.
16.
Okay, got it.
And that's
Yeah, that Steve
And
got back
that's
to me
fixed
today.
now.
Yes, it's fixed.
13,275.
So I think that gets us through. Any questions on the fringe line?
Just how often do we go out every year or every 3 years? When you think of things like the municipal insurance, you think of the workers' comp, some of these, not necessarily the health and life, but some of those other ones. Do we go out?
Doesn't HG Seeger shop it for us
They
annually?
do shop it
Yeah,
for us.
that's what I thought.
We've been
Every year?
every year.
Every year.
Yeah, yeah. There's a handful of insurance that insure municipalities.
Right. Small.
Travelers, of course, being one, it's escaping me the name of the company we had prior to Travelers.
Sure.
Trident.
Trident, thank you, but wasn't there one more, isn't it, starts with a C?
Kerma.
Kerma, thank you. That's correct though, right, Marie? There's just a handful of.
Yes, yep,
Companies
but
that
every
insure
time
municipalities.
they've seen that things might be trending so that we might not want to stick with them, or anytime we ask them to, which pretty much seems to be every year, they go out and look for us.
Right.
Just a little bit of background there for HD Seeger, and Amy and Marie, please weigh in if you think differently, but I will say those guys are incredibly responsive. I'll hit them with questions all the time, and they're back to me very often within the hour.
Yes.
And it's terrific, and they come out, they meet with us quarterly on the workers' comp,
Yes.
which next week's another one coming up. So just keep that in mind, they really do a nice job.
And then the other question I had, I know for over the last few years, we've shared with the school the cost on people in a lot of roles. Also, you mentioned fuel, oil, and electric contracts. Is there any opportunity here where we could leverage the scale of the school to get better rates on our insurance?
Well, we are combined
Yep.
with, we work with the school. They come here for the,
Yep.
for the reviews every quarter.
Okay,
We're both together.
perfect, perfect.
HG Seeger handles us both. They do separate claim meetings, but they are handling both.
Okay, any other questions from the group?
I have one, if I might. Unemployment compensation, I recognize that that line might be used, but wouldn't it be offset by perhaps decline in pay? And some, if someone was dismissed, wouldn't there be a savings some other place that would be at least a portion of that amount?
Yeah,
Well,
usually.
wouldn't it
Yeah.
depend on how quickly you advertised and filled the position?
Bill, yeah.
That's
Sure.
correct.
Of
You
course
know,
it would,
I think.
but we haven't used it at all. That's kind of why it pops up.
Okay, any other comments, questions, observations?
Could someone explain the retirement severance benefits?
So when certain employees from contractually retire, there are different elements of their pay or accumulated balances that are paid out. And that is obviously contingent on folks retiring. You can see back in 2022, it obviously happened. It's been light since then. I wonder if we will see something hitting there for Lynn, for
Right.
example, and Reenie. That just hasn't happened yet,
Correct.
which I should probably be working into my projection.
Anything
I'm
else?
sorry, Bill, to clarify, did you say they're in the projection or you need to work them into?
No,
the
I need, if you look at that line, I actually have 0 in the projection, and that's a miss on my end. I should work in amounts related to Lynn and Reenie.
Is that
Okay.
coming in the next fiscal year or this fiscal year?
This,
It would be this,
right.
although we do have the contingent on employees working with us, the ability to move it, which it happens very often at the school, or at least splitting it between years. I don't think that's been discussed for this year
No,
with Lynn and Reenie. Because sometimes it helps the employee too, from a tax perspective.
Do we know our exposure in that area?
I think with Lynn and Reenie, I think we're actually in pretty good shape.
Mhm.
Those were the two, if I remember right, that Amy and I had talked about this in the past. I think it was probably last year.
Yeah.
And I think those were the two that we were anticipating. So it feels like that 20 for next year seems
Well,
like.
I don't mean to try to identify particular individuals. I mean, just in general, if you had to pay it all out at the end of the year, what would it be, kind of thing? You get an idea of what our liability is, even
But
if it's not
everybody
reported as
retired?
such.
Yeah, we went through this, Steve, a few years back when it spiked, and I think if I recall, well, Bill, you should probably answer that. I think if I recall, it was an unpredictability on people.
Yeah.
You can do it based on
Right,
a projection, but if they
Right.
don't claim to retire and they stay out for 2 more years, then you missed a year.
right.
It's like it's like hitting a moving target.
Reenie's been
Well,
retired.
I'm not suggesting we budget the total amount, but just to have an understanding what our liability is. It really is something that the town owes to our employees. It's nice to know what it might be.
Okay, I'll take a look, Steve.
How far back, Steve?
Whatever it is, as of right now, for example, there's a number. If the world ended today, we'd have to pay sick pay and vacation pay to the people leaving. That's a number that exists right now for the current employees.
Okay. I know where you're coming from, because in the outside world, that actually is accrued.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Exactly.
And I do struggle with that a little bit myself, but we've talked about that quite a bit in the past. Anything else on fringe?
Looks like that's a no.
The only thing would be, I'd certainly agree with being conservative on the health increase. Although you've indicated you've got some people getting less expensive plans or dropping plans, the
Right.
reverse could happen during the year as well. New hires and so forth come in that want a family plan where the incumbent currently doesn't have that. So, yeah, I think you need to be a little careful there.
Yeah, I agree, Steve, and that's why I added that one extra employee in there, if you will, at full family. You wouldn't have to twist my arm to keep that flat or even go up a little bit. But I just wanted you guys to have all the facts about how we landed where we did.
Keep it flat, meaning take the 10 out or
Yeah.
bring it to 40?
Um,
I'll make sure I'm.
Take the
tracking
10 out.
it. Okay.
yeah,
I thought you meant-
yeah.
Okay, any other questions on Fringe? I think we're moving to Allison, so I'll pause here and ask, just so we don't mix library with the rest of it. Are there any citizens' comments? We have only done Fringe benefits, so any citizens' comments on Fringe benefits? Okay,
Hey, Rob?
yes.
Hey, Scott Antonson here. How are you?
Good.
I just wanted to add in when Marie was talking about the EAP, the Employee Assistance Programs, and you were asking, or someone asked about how much it gets used. I know that after my dad passed, I used the legal services to help me understand the whole probate process, and tapped them again just recently to help me understand the estate planning process for my mother. So I did use them. They are a great resource. So I just putting my 2 cents in as to that they are used.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. It was really more about sometimes these legacy things get lost and carry forward, but that's terrific. Thank you for letting us know.
You cited it as a legacy thing. I'm a legacy employee and we had it and then it was cut and then it was advocated to come back. So this is round 2 of it being available to employees. So it's not been around round 2 as long as one might think.
Yeah, that's good to know too, because if it was brought back, that means there was a reason and a need,
It was
in
brought
recent
back.
years.
Yes.
Okay, no citizens' comments, so we're gonna move on to item J for subsec J, civic, cultural, library, admin. Allison, I think you have 2. You have J, you have 3, J, K, and L.
Yes.
Thank you, Allison.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Amy, I'm not gonna offer you one because you'll be driving it.
want me to do the PowerPoint? You want me to?
Just the PDF is fine.
Okay,
It's,
which one is that?
it's, I think that one.
Oh, it's Kevin. Sorry.
Oh, no,
Just
it's
right.
the other.
Nope,
Nope,
slides for.
slides for presentation. We'll go with that.
Give me a second, I'll do better with this one.
No problem. Well, it's a PDF, so.
Yeah.
Yes, there's no, yeah, just, yeah,
Let me go back to Zoom and I'll be able to share.
pretty vanilla. Thank you, Amy. So I just would like to take a few minutes to talk to you about the library and what we do and provide for our community. For those that don't know me online, my name is Allison Buta. I've been with the library for 23 years. Thank you very much to the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance for the opportunity to talk with you about the services that we do provide our community. I'd like to introduce and thank my chair of the Board of Trustees, Bob LaChance, and also acknowledge Donna Lynch online, another board member, and apologies if there are others. I don't know if you're there. Thank you for joining.
Can't see.
I don't know who's there, but if you're there, I appreciate you taking the time to be with us. So, next slide, Amy, or next page. No, I don't think so, because it's a PDF, so.
It worked, dear.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Well, there we are. So just capturing our mission to provide the best possible informational, educational, cultural, and recreational services. And that's a pretty big umbrella, and we're very fortunate to have just the right facility to make all of those things possible in the spaces that we have available to us. The next page, and just so for the record, that is the very first time I've ever put a picture of myself in a slideshow. And it felt very weird, but I was like, I asked a staff member and they were like, you are the director, put it in. So I went with it. So here are our statistics from last year. We have indeed recovered from COVID. I was very pleased to see how many new library cards we issued last year. The other thing of note I'd like to mention is those library cards are a requirement to use our online library, which is noted by the 5,067 digital items that were loaned borrowed by our cardholders. That is a substantial increase over the last year, and I'm hearing reports from the staff that word is getting out. You know, we can stand on the roof and say, you should use our Libby app. And yet until you're a kid or your neighbor tells you, hey, did you know all this cool stuff is, yeah, but you need a library card. I've gotten a number of reports in the last year of people coming in specifically because they want the card to get into the Libby service. So that has been good to hear. The meeting room use is still very strong. And just another note on our statistics, I note library visitors, many more people come into that building and we do not count them. They go down the hall, they use the restroom, they're using the facility, they're a car in the parking lot, but that is not a true number in terms of the actual usage of our facility. Very proud of our strong numbers for programs, especially for the children and family, having over 4,000 people take the time to bring their littles to us is wonderful. And I continue to be very impressed by the amount of grandparents bringing their children as well. It's not just moms and dads trying to carve out that time to get to a early childhood program. We're seeing everyone take the time to bring their littles. So the next page, Amy, thank you. Essential services at our library. It's impossible to do many things if you're not online. And if you can't get online, if you don't have a device, you can't get online. We are continuing to help many people who choose not to have internet at home or a device at home or a smartphone to do many of today's basic functions. They are referred to us by those agencies, and some of them bring helpers, many of them don't. Many of them don't realize that to even get started, they need an email address. Some of these people don't want an email address, but you can't do some things without an email address. So we're really still starting at ground zero with many people who are coming to us for assistance. The fax scan station, we've had it for a number of years now. We didn't used to, but it was the number one thing that we said no to people about, and it continues to be very well used and pretty much a daily thing for us. I'm not going to read the whole slide to you. Tax forms, we love being in business for the IRS. Harken their forms for them, not, but this is the position that they put that program in, sending many people to many public libraries for access to forms. And then these are things we hear every day. This is one of the commercials that we run on our Facebook page. And literally these three things were said to me one morning while I was working the desk. And it happens every week. People knowing that they can come through our front doors and do those things. I would have to say about half of our business has nothing to do with checking out books. We are that kind of a resource to our community. We like checking out books. We have a great book collection for all ages. And yet that is not the only thing that our service offers to the community. You can do the next slide. 7 generations. This was mentioned to me at a professional development program I went to not too long ago. And I was like, wait a minute, it was 5 last I knew. How did we creep up to 7? And yet the more I thought about it and how we interact with people of all ages, this picture of the puzzle and the checkers, I see more often than not 2 different groups of people sitting at that table working on that, either playing checkers. Just last month, there were 2 teenagers playing checkers and 3 senior citizens working on the puzzle. They brought up extra chairs to that table. They were totally fine interacting with each other. And that table delights many of us as we get to watch people spend some time. And they come to do that table, to spend time at that table. The engagement and the opportunity for people to interact with others and have a sense of community or not feeling isolated at home is a real win. So this is one of our little guys, Ronnie. He gets brought to the library a couple of times a week. He's now in pre-K as well. And it's just, again, my citing the fact that grandparents are really vital to making sure that their littles do indeed get to the library. It's very important for both of them. Next slide. Oh, our school visits. So these are some of the programs that we offer our families. We're very pleased to have the school back with us for their monthly visits. It's a great day for them. Many of them are already coming to the library with their families, outside of school, which we really appreciate. I'm not going to read all of these, very important programs. But we're very pleased with the opportunities of connection that we have with the young ones. The next slide is just a bunch of adorable children. And most of the time, this is a card that we have propped up in the library. And people are welcome to take a picture of it on their own. And then if we happen to see it, we sometimes ask if we too can take a picture. The baby in the carrier, those parents were so fun. They were at the library for over an hour, exploring, getting a card for their little one, playing checkers. The baby was very happy to be at the library, and so they took advantage of the opportunity to be out of the house and doing something for themselves. And on that day, it included playing checkers. These are all just recent library cards too. These are all within the last 6 months. So again, we're very pleased with the number of new card members we are experiencing. And these two little ones, oh my word, these two little ones, they're not siblings. They were just at story time together and bonded and had a great time. They read a book and then went and got more books, and read those books and then went and got more books. So the programs, the advantages of the families coming to the programs, it's not just the program itself. They come early and spend time in the play corner. They stay after the program. This was after the program. And it's just wonderful to see the kids really picking up the cues on how to be a reader, how to engage with other children. It's just a nice thing to see the space so well in action. The next slide, please. Sorry. So STEAM, these STEAM kits are something new that we launched this past summer. And for those that aren't familiar with the word STEAM, it stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Math. And this has been a cornerstone of our children's program for years and years and years before STEAM became a trendy word. And yet we're tapping into it even more in the recent years to really double down on making sure that the kids have access to various toys and teaching tools that help them move their learning journey forward. And if the library can play a role, we certainly will. The Wonder Books, Amy, you may remember this. I brought these last year. I had some props with me. I brought a few. They're audiobooks built into a book. And so they're a little pricey, but they have been so well received. We had a collection of about 30, and we ran a report on their usage, and I was blown away. They went out 490 times in a year and a half. So to me, that is a huge hit and something that we will definitely continue to invest in. So much so that after I ran that report, I asked Mrs. Flynn to go shopping, and we bought 12 more. Because they're really connecting with our young readers. We are buying them in picture books and early readers and chapter books. And we're hearing some wonderful success stories, not only from the kids themselves and how proud they feel that they can be a reader, even though they may be struggling a bit, but what this book allows them to do is very empowering for any child that's not quite at the pace that they want to be, and the ability to hear the book and then follow along to some, it can be life-changing. Parents are very pleased and have also spoken about the confidence boost that a sibling can sit with an older and still feel like a reader, even though they're getting a little help with the audio component of it. The next slide. 30 years at Riverside Drive this year. I have no idea how that happened, but it did. And I have a sad story and then a nice story to tell you on this slide. So the sad story is Eversource replacing our grounded transformer, which was to be a happy story until we have 3-phase power in the facility. And the 3 phases, which is kind of why I use the picture with the cabinet open, so you could see, yes, there are indeed 3 lines that come into that box for us. Unfortunately, they didn't connect it properly, and so it didn't talk to several pieces of HVAC equipment properly. So it made them run backwards or made them misperform, which cost us 3 different service calls. Yes, exactly. And it really confused the
It's
HVAC guy.
No,
It
it's a
totally threw him.
220 motor. If you put the
Yeah,
leads the
it
opposite
was a-
way, it runs backwards.
It was a very unfun couple of weeks that ended up costing us over $1,700.
Yeah.
Amy was very helpful in trying for us to file, we did file a claim with Eversource. And they sent us their standard rejection letter. So sorry, blah, blah, exemption, blah, blah, exemption, pay the bill. So yes, that improvement on the facility cost us just over $1,700. However, we're very pleased with the light project that we're entering the third phase of completing. This is the third LED improvement program that I've participated in since I've been at the library. This hopefully will be our last one. There is no bulb in those fixtures. There's no ballast in those fixtures. Unfortunately, we have many other light styles in the facility, but we have a lot of these light styles, this type of fixture. So we've already converted the entire community center and the children's wing, most of the staff area. We have the library wing to do left, and I believe it's 38 fixtures. So we started at well over 100, and we're very pleased working with Trudeau Electric of Thompson on this project. He's helped us with a number of things in the facility that I can talk about when we get into the budget. And then the next slide. This one is my goodness kind of thing. This came on a delicious tray of cookies at Christmas time. The Lewises treat us to cookies every year. The Lewises, I've known them for years. For those that don't know Steve Lewis, he is a retired architect. And they moved to Thompson years ago because this community invested in building a public library. And that really spoke to them. This is a story that Steve told me a dozen years ago, and it really stuck with me. They have 2 daughters who are now in their I think Steph's in her 30s now. 2 young women who are doing very well in life, who were very engaged in our library, and their parents made an effort to bring them to all of our programs through their school years. And then families transition, and Steve and Kathy are fantastic regular library users who appreciate the scope and variety of things that they have available to themselves at this stage in their life. So this was my one humble brag that I felt I should include this year on behalf of all of the staff, that this is what our community thinks of our library. And the last slide. And so the budget priorities, as they have always been and will be, as long as the library board signs off on my request, and that is to maintain the facility and the collection for readers of all ages. So. And now if Bill wants to walk through our bit of money, unless anyone has any questions on that.
Well, thank you, Allison. That was wonderful.
You're welcome.
Just going over. We're gonna touch capital later on.
Yes,
But I know
yeah.
that I was hoping that maybe we could talk about that now. And then you and Bob could leave. Is
Oh,
that a
yes,
possibility?
it's part of my program too. So we're doing the library. Bill's gonna walk you through those 3 things. We're going to do it tonight, yes.
Yeah, I was just wondering if we could do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, right.
To,
Do you want
because
to,
it comes at the end of the program tonight,
I think.
the capital.
No,
That's right around.
yeah, for us.
Is
The capital is called out right here in L.
I did, I'm,
Yep.
So we could move it up, but I think. we just
okay,
go
I
through
don't
all
have
3.
that on mine. That must be on the new one.
Oh, it may be, it may be, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We'll team up on this one.
Sure.
Not a lot of change in civic and cultural, if I remember
I see
right.
it. Thank you.
The automated circulation increase had to do, it was the 2% increase in the Bibliomation membership, which I believe drives the online.
Yes, yeah.
The online program.
Yep.
Okay. The up top, the salaries are the standard 2.25% that we've been talking about for everyone. As we continue down, supplies for public access, I believe, Allison, that was IT related
Yeah.
supplies. And I believe the remainder of these increases are largely, these 3 at the bottom of the page are largely sort of inflation driven.
Unfortunately, yes, I was trying to avoid that word, but it is something that I'm experiencing with every order I place. And so, yeah, inflation.
Any questions on civic and cultural? On the library? Otherwise, we'll move on to the community center.
Yep, let's do it.
Not a lot of change here, a little different on the salary line here, because the way things have moved here, Allison, I believe it's because we've replaced both of these positions.
Yes. that's
And they
correct.
went to the 17,743.
Yeah,
So the prior year comparisons look a little different, but you'll see the morning and the evening custodian are the same. So if I remember right, we were without an evening custodian for quite a while.
that's correct. Yeah.
Okay. The next increase, service contracts, vendor price increases, if I remember right. Would you recall which vendors? Helen?
One of them is the fire alarm test that we have to do now, annually. That's really been a big driver in that, but all of the vendors understandably have passed along somewhat of an increase.
Right. And the two at the bottom, supplies and custodial supplies, those were both inflationary.
Yes, trying to be respectful and yeah, also acknowledging that, you know, with every invoice I get, things are creeping up.
Any questions on the library? Otherwise, we'll move to their piece of capital.
I do just have one question, Allison, or maybe two. I know we had a discussion at one point on custodial pay.
Yeah.
Is this reflective of a larger increase, or are we still gonna struggle with keeping? Because
Yes, we are
that's-
still going to struggle.
That's gonna be difficult.
Yes, you're not
Are
wrong. That
you-
was not addressed. It was in the first package.
Is it a
that-
consideration of?
It was in
increasing
the
it?
first package that I shared with the library board of trustees, and they agreed, having gone through the struggle of trying to fill the jobs.
Right.
And then after speaking with Bill, he advised that I roll it back to the 2.25.
Okay.
And so respectfully, I did, and yet it is a talking point still from people interested in the custodial jobs as we struggle with those from time to time. They're expecting 20 to 25.
And what were we at again?
1650.
For
and-
both positions?
I think currently, and then this will be once they are out of the probationary period. I might be winging that and Bill would have better access to that.
Okay, and are both the morning and the evening custodians at 19 hours?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, 19 hours for both.
Yes.
And then just one more question, the vendors, do you know off the top of your head who they are?
We have trash, so we have Casella, and what vendors for which one of the service there's several vendors.
Sorry, service
Sure.
contract.
It's Casella for shorts, it's Venture Communications for
Yep.
our alarm system, and I'm gonna forget the third one. Who is the third one?
That's
Bill's-
okay.
yeah.
You can do that.
There's a third one for sure, and there might even be a fourth one.
Okay, just curious.
No, that comes through the Bibliomation network. Can you slide me that folder, Bob? It's, the answer isn't here, I'm sure.
Casella, Venture Communication.
I think those are in those notes
Is, internet or?
No, that's with the Bibliomation, but Rob went with that, I guess, too, but that's a no. Various systems, HVAC preventative maintenance contract.
Okay.
That was what it was. So we pay a quarterly payment for the HVAC, and that thing is paid for itself years ago.
Right.
The alarm monitoring, the quarterly inspection, I knew there was a fourth one, the quarterly inspection of the sprinkler system, which
Okay.
is mandatory for the public building. So there are four, plus that newer one to have the fire alarms tested annually.
Okay,
Yeah, so that's kind of driving the increase, but yes.
great.
And then that doesn't cover the various inspections that we have to have from other entities for things in the building.
Great.
Okay, any questions on the community center? No
I got
questions.
just one
Bob?
question, Bob, one
Go
question.
ahead,
on the-
Brian.
On the custodian, I noticed the typing on the side between 20 and 25, but I'm just curious, is it the goal to make the morning and the evening the exact same pay? You know, because you're given a 1.35 increase to the morning custodian. Everybody else got 2.25.
It
I'm
is
just-
2.25, Brian. It's really weird math because the positions have been vacant. So that's why they're tracking at the same pay rate right now, because they were pretty much brought on at the same time within the same fiscal year. So the math is reading a little misleading because of that, the vacancy, and they're both newer employees and therefore started at the same rate. We had Don Massey for 18 years. He made not much more than this. And so we did do some reset because of the new math, the new times. And so that's the landscape for the custodians.
So you have a current custodian right now making an hourly rate. And
We have
so-
two, actually.
Two. Well, okay. Well, I'm looking at the 1.35, and then the
Yeah.
other one's getting 10%.
No, that's not I'm not, I'll let you do it.
Brian, I jump in. I think if you look at column O, that's showing that 17,743. So they're actually being paid the same.
Right.
The
Yeah, I
delta
see
to
that.
24 is showing that big gap of 1.3 to 10. I think that's based on the fact that the second shift of the evening was vacant.
Right,
So the spend went up for the year, but the rate's the same.
correct.
Well, I understand that it was vacant, but going into the next fiscal year, maybe it's just me. Okay, I'm fine.
I would agree. It kind of budgeted to be vacant. Kind of strange.
Yeah, that's my thing. Okay, it was vacant, but the morning custodian was
Right,
Percentage on
I
projection.
think I could
not-
clarify potentially, was also,
think
I mean, the
Steve
evening
was the one
custodian
who
was
asked for that.
vacant for a long time, but at that time, were they also getting potentially paid less than Don, who had been there for years? Potentially, is that why the numbers?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Fewer hours.
Because he had been with the library for so
Yeah.
long, maybe you had,
Well, Don was the morning custodian,
but he had been there for a long time.
right, but
too.
they're concerned about the evening custodian.
Right, and the fact that the evening custodian looks like they're getting 10%.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
Right.
that could be.
I think it's because
Not
the
just because it
evening,
was
the
vacant.
evening custodian had been vacant for a few years. That's 16,126
Well, not years,
or for a
A
while,
while.
reflects possibly what it was when it was last budgeted. So that's probably too low
That could well be.
for the 24 budget.
That could well
But when we hired both of them new, just in the last few months, right?
be. Yes,
Or at least the
Um,
evening.
Bob is 5 months and Brian is within the month.
Yeah, okay, that's right. They
2
were,
months.
they were brought up to the same rate.
Okay, we good?
Very weird payroll math.
Any other questions on community center? It is a little confusing. I see
It
what
is.
Ryan with that.
It is.
Because we don't normally budget at that. It might, the
Right.
projection might, or the actual might come in, but I get it. So we have capital, L for subset L,
Yes.
library capital.
Fasten your seatbelts, everyone, because there's some big numbers on this page. However,
No.
not most of them aren't from the library.
Oh, okay. You're showing them the big. pic-
Yeah,
Keep
you're-
that,
we're
keep that on the 6 month bill.
Yeah, so this presentation has changed a little bit from last year. It's split between capital in this top section and transfers down below. And we have also added in columns to the right here for 26 through 29. So we have a 5-year look. Column E is there for our 2025 adjustments. So you'll be able to see the original proposed amount and any adjustments that you make. Keep in mind, this one probably is more of a wish list than any of the other pages that we've gone through. But Allison, I believe you were here. Row 20, $4,500 for the replacement of the 5 computers.
Yes,
And then down below in transfers, the normal transfer to the library maintenance fund of $50,000.
yes.
was specifically you, and those were, I believe, your only two items. on this
Nope.
bill.
The gate.
10/7/25.
Did I miss the gate? My apologies. Real-time budgeting. Entrance gate?
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
a
the front
security
doors?
gate. And no, the front doors were already done. So this is the security gate for the library item security system.
Okay, and the amount?
10,725.
There we go.
Could you explain that, Allison?
Sure, this is the second gate that we've had. I replaced it back in 2009 due to it wasn't repairable at that time. So in the last year, I've had to call for service twice now. They've replaced the fan, and you get to a model that they're like, oh, well, we don't have X, Y, and Z. So the fan that they did replace it with, it's not the right fan. And so every time I called, they're like, well, you know, this is out of, I don't want to say warranty. They're not really servicing this age of a gate anymore. And so we are fortunate because we had some trouble a few years ago, and I thought we were going to move forward with some purchasing. And so I did open a purchase order. I don't even know what fiscal year. Bill has been very accommodating with not closing this out. So because the true price of the gate is close to 15,000, as you see in the memo. And so because we've been, Bill was very good to me yet again, this audit cycle, and allowed that PO to live one more fiscal year, that we could actually realize those funds as well.
And the security gate that's there today does not work?
It is
or it's-
functioning, but I'm out of repair
understand
mojo.
It's not
So the
supported.
next time it goes down,
Understood, yeah.
it's down.
Mhm.
And if it goes down, what do you do?
Well, then you don't have a security system.
Everything's out.
Well, I mean, you're at a loss or at a disadvantage to know whether or not things might be leaving your facility.
Right. So there's no other
Mhm.
temporary workaround is what I'm getting
No,
at.
there's
If you
not.
could-
No, no.
Okay,
Alice-
thank you.
Allison, I got a question.
Sure.
Computers.
Yes.
I don't have last year's budget or capital in front of me. Did we give, and that was for something else, that was for the
Not
public.
last year, but the year before, it
public
was for
computers.
staff computers,
Okay,
which were, I want to say, 6 years out of cycle already.
okay.
Except for mine. Mine was 8 years out of cycle. I feel very, very modern now with my new computer.
It's a small request, so I just
It's
couldn't
a-
remember.
No, you're not wrong, because I did want to elaborate on the computer piece, because I don't ask for computers this soon.
Mhm.
And yet technology is escalated quite quickly, and some programs that we have need to run on, you know, I still have a few Windows 7 computers in the facility, which I'm quite proud of, not gonna lie. We have over 30 machines in the building between what we need for some maintenance things, and serving the public, the staff machines at the workstations, and then these, computers that are right at the front desk. So these are from, 2018, I believe. And what we do too is some of the computers are not all first generation, so we recycle. So some are tier 1 computer workstations where we really need to have a new machine. And then some of the other rotations get a second time around machine. And yet we are kind of in a bubble of trying to finish out getting rid of the Windows 7 machines, although, you know, we'll get there. So that's a bit of the computer landscape. I usually like to have a 5-year gap between my asks, and we do other things trying to fund the computers for the public. And yet right now, because of how things shook out, we do have another computer ask within my 5-year preferred window.
Sounds like you could really use that. So, I just couldn't remember. if it
No,
was
you're
last
not
year.
wrong.
I actually couldn't remember if we if it got taken out last
No.
year. That was my bigger
I
question.
kept it because we really needed to flip the staff machines, because we don't do the standard industry, flip them, you know, within 3 or 4 years. We
Right.
Stretch it.
go big time.
My only other question, well, two questions again, or I say one and then I mean two. I would wonder from Bill if you don't have it right now, if you can get to us what is in, the standing library maintenance fund currently. And then I know there's certain projects, and I've seen the telephone system and equipment year after year.
Yep.
Um,
I'm waiting to hear back from
From
Frontier. Yeah, I was on the phone with them twice last week. So,
and I know that the building committee is working on the underground oil tank and the process of that, which I see as that's a real priority because we know that it's past the 30-year mark. Just curious if we have, aside from the oil tank, because I don't think we've gotten a projected price on that yet. Do we have a price for all this immediate work?
no,
Okay,
we do not.
all right.
I'm hopeful on the phone and working with Frontier shortly. The installing the bollards at the main entryway and the surrounding the new oil tank structure. I have no idea where to start with that. And the oil tank you talked about. I do need to reach back to the door company. We've already had to replace one set of doors in the community center. And there are a few more doors that I've had repaired that are beyond repair, and a few that have rusted out. So there's also a tricky set of doors at the front. You may be aware that the community is about to use the facility for early voting. And with early voting comes a very unique schedule of access by others of the facility. So with the November voting, there will be a 14-day window, and those are calendar days and not business days. So whoever is manning that voting location on those days will need to get in the building and then secure the building. And so that's easily accomplished within the typical polling hours when an evening or morning custodian are there to follow up or help them in. And yet if others without awareness of our various clerks are responsible for securing the building, some additional doors will need to be replaced. There are a few other things that we are spending money on to prepare to be an early voting place. One of them is I just had the electrician in last week. And we've addressed the issue with the building lights, those timers from the 90s, man, they were advanced, and yet it was the screw base clock system. And so the screw got loose and then you lose your time. So that was pretty fun. So we've moved on from that and have a photo cell fixture for the building lights now. We also have a access point for the parking lot lights that is not within a mechanical room. So the polling employees can turn the lights on and off as needed based around their voting hours and what window we might be in. So we're trying to get the facility ready to be useful for the community, and yet some doors are going to need to be replaced as the final piece of that puzzle.
Yeah, I think.
So I owe you some prices. Yeah.
Well, I think the biggest question would just be if we kind of had a projection of
Mhm.
prices, that way we're sure that we're putting the appropriate amount of money into the fund.
Mhm. The doors
you
would
can
be a
accomplish
top
things in-
priority. The doors and the phone, once I get an idea on the phone, I've got to move on the phone.
Oh. Mr. Chair, Donna Lynch raised her hand too.
Hi. Donna, yes.
Oh, you're on mute, Donna.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to ask a clarifying question of Allison with regard to the gate question. Allison, in my mind, when you say gate, I'm envisioning the literal gate that closes when the library itself is
No.
closed.
The gates that you walk through, those stand up thingamabobby.
That
They
set
look
off
like
an alarm.
this.
Okay, that set off an
Nothing
alarm.
moving.
Yeah,
No.
exactly, yeah, yeah.
Well, but there is also the other gate that closes
Yeah,
when the
that's true.
library is
Yep.
closed.
Yep, that
And
is a
so
gate.
that way, people who are in the community centers still have access to restrooms. So
Correct.
I just needed to clarify which actual gate you
The
were.
library material gate, the gate
Okay.
for library security of items.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Dave, did you have something?
Yeah, to follow up on your initial question, not only with regard to library and the maintenance fund in terms of its balance, but once we get into the remaining items and transfer, each of them may or may not have balances which
Yep.
we need
That's
to
right.
know.
Like the
Yeah,
paving,
we,
like the paving,
Like
for
the
example.
I actually have,
Okay.
I did anticipate your paving, the paving fund tab on here is updated. So we have that ready to go.
Okay.
I will probably wait to this tab right here.
That's fine.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Okay,
So- but yes.
Okay, any other questions, for
Do
Allison?
I recall, this is Steve.
Good, Steve.
Do I recall correctly that what's labeled here as library maintenance used to be identified as a library roof?
No.
Is that the same line or something different?
So Steve, if you, row 33 and 34, the municipal property repair fund is what we
Yep.
used to call the library roof fund. And that library maintenance fund was separate from the library roof fund and
That's
also happened pretty much every year.
Yeah.
Okay.
At that 50,000, if I remember right.
I think it was 25. I think
It
they
was
went 25 for a few years and got
Several
back
years,
hitting.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think that started in like 2016 by a previous Board of Selectmen. So.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the other item,
the reason, sorry, Steve, the reason
Okay.
for that shift, if you recall, was that we oftentimes needed funds to match grants. And if we had it slated to one building, then we
Right.
were kind of, you know, our hands were kind of tied in terms of putting it where the need was more immediate and to have. some
exactly,
kind
yeah.
of
No, I recall that.
funds. So we need to continue to replenish that, but
Yeah.
we haven't forgotten about the library in that regard. Go ahead, Steve.
Well, I hope I demonstrated that there's stuff going on that needs to be addressed.
The other thing I thought I'd mention, it's not the library, but it's the community center is, and I think Amy touched on it, which was the ability to have Zoom meetings. I mean, this day and age, that's how we live. Having the ability to do Zoom meetings there with the lack of that ability really diminishes the utility of the activity center for our town. So that really ought to be
Why
something we
can't we
consider.
have Zoom meetings there?
Just need it in there.
I'm not sure why you feel that we can't have Zoom meetings there.
Oh, I thought we had some difficulty in doing that. If it's not a problem, then great.
When Zoom first came out,
It could
I
have
think
been.
your connectivity was slightly off and then you did an upgrade, didn't you, with Frontier?
I don't know.
So-
I'm trying to think if we changed the speed. We may have, I think we did change the speed. I think you're right.
More town meetings? I can't remember.
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think we've ever, I've run a Zoom meeting there myself. Some of the things that are missing is the screens. I don't think you have like a screen.
We don't have a TV screen, but we do have a drop down screen and a projector and a laptop
Right.
that could be
That
utilized.
could be
Yeah.
utilized.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we move on, we're gonna
Oh.
take a quick pause. I see that. We're gonna take a quick pause for citizens' comments. Well, before I do that, are there any other questions from either board for Allison? Super, great conversation. Thank you, Allison. We'll pause here before we move into tax collector. If there's any citizens' comments for the library. And I see Jess Bolte has her hand raised. Jess, if you're off mute, the floor is yours.
Okay, so in regards to the connectivity for Zoom meeting.
Sorry, Jess,
Oh, hold on.
could you kindly state your address for the
yeah.
record?
1081 Riverside Drive.
Thank you.
So for Zoom meetings, I know middle school PTO has attempted to have them at the library several times. The issue is if you try to connect onto the public internet at the community center, the connectivity is very difficult and you tend to drop quite a bit. And that's why middle school PTO has moved back to meeting at the school library because it was better
We were
connectivity.
there's a unit down there right in the community center wing, and I know we were having trouble with it at one point, and you had to unplug it and plug it back in. And it's been working quite well since. We'll be sure to do a test. Down there this week. We just had a spat of trouble with the unit up in the library wing, and we had to unplug it and plug it back in. And that is behaving better now as well. So I think you guys were down in visiting during that time when we were unaware. Unless someone tells us there's an issue, we're not gonna know to reset the equipment. And I believe that was the case at that time.
Okay, thank you, Jess. Any other citizen comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to item M. Tax collector Scott Antonson. Scott, the floor is yours.
Oh, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Just waiting for,
My clicking,
yep,
you're getting there, Scott.
there we are.
The big spreadsheet.
Yes. All right. Let me minimize this. Okay. So again, like everyone else, as far as the salary lines, I just put in the standard 2.25% as recommended by Bill. Then I went on to the expense side of the budget, and I sat with Rainey quite a bit on this and tried to find out all the different drivers for these different line items. And then I worked on contacting those different vendors or affiliates that we use and getting some updated pricing so that I could give you the most accurate budget that I could, this being my first pass. So if we look at under the professional and tech services, so the legal, that's, again, a lot of people call them placeholders. That's what that is for us. I don't think we've ever used it, but it just seems to be there. Professional affiliations at $100. So that is, if I can move this down, or, yep, there we go. So the $100, so that is our annual dues for the State Tax Collectors Association, CTX, and our Wyndham Tallinn County Tax Collectors Association dues. I don't think that's changed. Then the next line down, I believe that is for travel. Okay, so what I did there under the travel, now it looks like a sizable increase, which, you know, yes, it is. But what I did was, so I have a new employee that just started, Dave Dalby, since Lynn is officially retired now. And so in the 24-25 budget cycle, I would think that Dave is going to start toward his certification training for certified municipal collector. So so there's going to be a total of 16 classes that he would attend, and that would be in the fall. He would go through course 1, which is 8 weeks, and then in the spring of 25, but still in this budget, there would be the second 8-week course. And so I know that most of the time we have the town vehicle available to us, but just trying to be proactive, figuring on say that at least half the time, if that town vehicle wasn't available, Dave still needs to get there because it's a course and you can't miss it. So if he had to take his own vehicle, then he would put in for reimbursement. And I want to make sure there's money in that line item for that. And also the same with the AquaTurf. There's a spring and a fall meeting every year with that. So I put in mileage for that. So again, that's not all the possible trips. You could have a total of 16. But again, I just, the way it was explained to me is to have the money in the line item. So if we need it, it's there, because if we need it and it's not there, then it has to be transferred from another line item. And I don't want to get into, robbing Peter to pay Paul per se. So that's the increase on that line on the travel. On the next line item, which is I believe that's the training, the meetings and fees. Okay, so on the meetings and fees, that is the AquaTurf and the spring conference, and I'm figuring that on the AquaTurf, it would be 2 of us from the office that would go for both the spring and the fall meeting. Usually I would switch it up where myself and one employee would go in the spring and myself and the other employee would go in the fall. And as far as the spring conference, that's a 3-day conference that's held down in Westbrook at Water's Edge. And typically, what we've always done in the past is we send a different employee each day, so that everybody gets a chance to go and experience the conference and do the training in person. So the AquaTurf would be roughly, I think the cost of a meeting is $50 a head. So that's $200 for the AquaTurf and $425 for the attendance of the spring conference. The next line is the training. And again, I realize a large jump where it's been basically zero, because up to this point, myself, Rainey, and Lynn in the office, we've all been certified. So there really hasn't been much of any training other than maybe a couple of road shows that we've attended. And I think those might have been put into meetings in the past. But what I did is I checked with the Tax Collectors Association for the upcoming pricing for classes. So class 1 is $500 per student, and the other 3 classes are $300 per student. And I put in for 3 because I'm figuring that, like I said, Dave will attend class 1 in the fall, class 2 in the spring, but then Rainey, who has agreed to stay on through June 30th, probably sometime in April or May, we're going to start the process to advertise an interview for his replacement. And I would think that that person will probably, I would enroll in the class 1 next spring. So that is, so that $1,500 is comprised of 2 class 1s and 1 class 2. So that is $1,300 for the CCMC classes, and the road shows are typically $50 per person. And figuring that there's 2 road shows a year, and at least like the AquaTurf, at least 2 people in the office would go to a road show in the spring and in the fall. And those are usually held locally. So that is the other $200. So that makes up the $1,500 in the projection for this year. The next line of legal notices really stayed the same. That those are the required legal notices that I have to put in the shopper's guide for both the July and the January collection. They call it the 575 rule: 5 days before, 7 days into the collection period, and 5 days before the end of the collection period. I have to run legal notices. We run them in the shopper's guide because it has the most complete circulation, and it averages about $250 an ad. And that price is pretty much held steady from last year to this year. They told me there wasn't going to be any projected increases, so I put that at a flat increase or no increase of $1,500. And then the drop down to office supplies, and that office supplies includes, and I think this was what was being discussed earlier in Marie's presentation with the quality, or what we call QDS, quality data services. So you can see that, again, that's a sizable increase on my office supply side. But after receiving all the different quotes from quality, and it's broken down by the data side or the subscription side, which is what was in Marie's budget. And then there's what's called printing services. So the printing services, so that would be the setup and the printing of my real estate, personal property, and motor vehicle bills in June for the July mailing. And then my printing of my supplemental motor vehicle bills in December for my January mailing. And that alone there's just over 19,000 tax bills that we print and mail. And there's also what we call our rate books. So we have our bound rate books that come with the bills. And then at the end of the year, after everything shakes out with all of the credits and reductions due to certificates of change from the assessor's office, we then get what's called the final posted rate book, which is what is the book that would go into the vault if we did that. Those books are bound and printed by state statute. So all of that, all of those bills and the printing and the books, I have a quote here of $5,292, $5,292. So I rounded that to $5,300 in that estimate. Well, actually, I put it at 5,200. And then Chase Graphics, that is where we get all of our envelopes printed. And I worked with Jen Brightowski, who was our sales rep over there. And she went back and gave me invoices over the past 3 years. And we average, some years we order 10 cases of envelopes, and there are 2,500 envelopes to a case to do all our mailings throughout the year. So mostly window envelopes for bills and statements throughout the year. And then there's some non-window envelopes. Occasionally there's some 6 3/4 payment envelopes that we get printed, things like that. And they print our blank stock for the tax bills. So a customer comes to the counter, needs to pay a bill, they don't have the bill with them. So we print one right there in the office. So we have that blank stock that we get it printed by Chase Graphics, because it was much less to get it from them than it was to get it from QDS. We just had a whole bunch of that stuff printed in the past 2 years, so I didn't put any of that in to this year's budget. But what I did was, over the past, like I say, we've ordered anywhere between 10 cases or 12 cases, depending on the year. So I just, rounded it off at 11 cases, and that came to $33,575, and the remaining $225 to round it off to an even 9,000 would be just miscellaneous office supplies that we get from WB Mason: highlighters, staplers, staples, binder clips, paper clips, the stuff you need every day. So that's really the total of my budget. But like I say, I tried to, really dig into this thing and give you the best possible budget I could. So
Okay, thank you,
any
Scott.
questions?
Thank you, Scott. Any questions?
I have a quick question.
Okay,
Quick question, Scott, on the training side.
yes.
I said there was 2 for first and 1 second round for Dave and potentially the next employee. What would that continue then into the next year? Like, is this a consistent thing we'll see for the next year, 2 years, 3 years until the new employees get up to speed? And how
So-
long has it been since we've incurred these expenses?
So typically if you can hit all the classes being offered, within a cycle, it would be 2 full years. It would be, say, fall, spring, and for a student to go through the 4 modules for the tax collector certification training, and then in each one of those it's an 8-week course. They sit for an exam, they pass the exam, which is included in the fee. They move on to the next course, and so on and so on. And then they sit for the final state exam when they're all done with that. But once you're certified, right now your certification is good for 5 years. And then when the 5 years comes up, you have to do re-education credits. That's what we were just going through, the 3 of us in the office. There was really almost no cost to that, because most of those classes we would either just do a local road show, or we would Zoom in to a training session that was being offered and do it in the office. I was the last to get certified, and I got my certification in 2017. So really, that's why when you look at the training and you see that it's been 0 for so long, I mean, this goes back to what, the FY22, and I think if you went back even further, you'd see there was almost negligible dollars spent on training for that reason. But now that we have definitely 1 new employee who is going to go through the entire certification process, and then the other employee to replace Rainey, depending on what we decide, I would figure that employee is going to at least go through the first 2 parts. I would like to see whoever we hire go through the entire process like I did and become fully certified. So to your answer, yes, you would be looking at, so over 2 years for an employee, it would cost you $3, $6, $9, and $5, $1,400 for 1 employee to go through the 4 courses based on the pricing I got this year. So that's why I figured 2 course 1s and a course 2 in this upcoming budget cycle. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Scott. Any other questions from either
I have a
board?
question.
Yes, Steve.
Scott, is it true? I've heard this rumor that the AquaTurf is actually a golf tournament.
No, unfortunately, and I don't know as if I would travel that far for a golf tournament.
Some people are doubting that, Scott.
Although it is a very good prime rib dinner.
Okay, any other questions
It's a good
for tax collector, Mr. Antison? Any questions? Any citizen comments for our tax collector? Any citizen comments? Super.
If I
A citizen comment
No,
or
no, just a
finance,
question
director of
before you
finance?
continue.
Go ahead, Bill.
Given that, just an offer, since we had to cancel DPW because of the storm, if you guys are up for it, since it's 8:30, I could take you through finance, and Joe Imartino's asked me to speak to Historical Society. They'll both probably only take a couple minutes, but at least we'll cross off a couple of other departments, or we can do that another day.
I'm personally okay with that. My one question, how does the rest of the group feel? And before we get to that, since it's not on the agenda, are we gonna have any conflicts with people that would have wanted to be here if they knew that was on? You guys know historically what you've done.
Right, we,
Other budgets as necessary are always put there, just in
it's
case.
Sunday.
I see that. Very good.
The only thing
But again,
I
it's okay to find out what the group thinks.
It's just a couple minutes. How does the rest of the group feel?
don't mind
about
a few minutes, but I wish I had the spreadsheets ahead of time.
Oh, okay, well, I'll tell you what, Steve, if you have additional questions, the reason I offered is because I believe they're both very straightforward. So.
Let's give it a try.
Ryan, Nikki, you guys good with hanging on a little longer?
That's fine.
All right, so you guys are all set with me?
Suzanne and Ken? Suzanne and Ken, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm
Okay.
good.
Thank you.
I'll start with finance then, and I guess it couldn't be any more
Rob,
straightforward.
Scott was just asking if he's good to go.
Excuse
I
me,
think
Nikki?
Scott was just asking, there's no citizens comments. He's good to go. I don't think you guys heard him.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think we're good, Scott. Thank you very much.
Rob, I'm sorry, this is Suzanne. I could not unmute myself, but I'm fine with that too.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Thanks, guys. I'll make it very quick.
All right,
in the
sounds good.
finance, in the finance budget, you just see that actually the whole increase is the 2.25% for just a normal salary increase. No increases in other lines. One thing I'd like to address, line 11, meetings and fees. We didn't see a heck of a lot of spending in the past. However, this coming year, my license is up in Massachusetts. So there's going to be some CPE related spending, continuing professional education related spending. And I would also like to start to get involved with the GFOA. And there is a Munis conference that Orla had gone to in the past that I would consider, probably not this coming year, but I decided to leave that line the same. So there were no other increases in any of the other lines. Office supplies, we usually, Paula, believe it or not, clips coupons. So we usually actually come in under there. So not a heck of a lot going on in finance from a budget perspective. And I'm kind of pleased to report that. Any questions on the finance budget? Okay, terrific. Historical Society, just gonna find the sheet, forget which one that's on.
Yeah, I did have one question.
Sure.
How's the allocation and the split with the school and your role? Is that
That-
working? I know physically it's working well. Are we allocated appropriately from your point of view?
Yeah, I think so. It may be a little heavier at the school than it is here. I think that is offset by the fact that we split Guy 50-50 with the school. However, he probably spends more time here. He's typically here Guy's normally here a part of Monday and Tuesday when I'm at the school. So we have coverage at both. And then I'm down here half of Wednesday afternoon and Thursday and Friday. Although to be honest, we both go back and forth as needed. Matter of fact, I just showed up at the school on Friday. Just to say hello.
So it's balanced.
So I think it's pretty balanced. It's working out pretty well. Guy has been absolutely terrific to have, especially because with his experience as a CPA, he can help out with audit related requests that the staff typically probably wouldn't be doing. It's just not one of their strengths, and those things tend to be more about, I guess, more academic, if you will, accounting type theory. So his experience has been very valuable there. But there's no increase planned in his line. So moving on to the Historical Society, they had asked, I'm gonna remember what tab it is, but there's no change to their ask. They had asked for 3,000 in the past.
Oh, no, wasn't it 6?
I'm sorry, 6,000. Did I say 3?
Yeah.
I'm honestly not sure what. There they are. So there had been an increase in the ask last budget cycle from 5,000 to 6,000, and that was primarily to cover increased fuel oil costs. So I had a conversation with Joe I. Martino, it was about a month ago, and that $6,000 we think we can leave stable for this year. Heating oil has calmed down a little bit, but there are a couple of other repairs that they're expecting. I think it was plumbing and electricity. Actually, yep, that's what I have in my notes. So no change to the Historical Society's request.
Okay,
And there's-
Any-
Is there one more tab, Bill, on Board of Finance budget? It's right before. Just go back to the very beginning. Oh, okay, yeah, Board of Finance.
I'm sorry, Amy, I can't hear you.
Oh, I was just asking if there was one more tab on Board of Finance.
Yes, so this is the board's budget, obviously, the 2.25 increase for the secretary, financial and accounting. This is the audit fee. The increase here looks steep. However, recall that we're coming off, I believe, a 3-year contract with King and King. We're scheduled to go out to bid this for next year's audit. Although Amy and I were discussing that a little bit, but this estimate was actually from Chris King, who's the partner at King and King. And that's where he would expect next year's audit fee to land. We actually were very fortunate, and I just happen to know this from my personal business dealings. We were actually very fortunate to lock into that fee at that time frame. There's been some pretty sharp increases in audit fees during that time, so it worked out pretty well. Everything else, I believe, is unchanged.
so you don't feel that 25% spike is inappropriate, given where the market's moved during a period where we had a fixed price?
I think it's pretty reasonable.
Well, we'll find out when you get your request back.
Right, that's true. Yeah, we gotta work on that. That's what we'd have to work on, right? And obviously this is only the town's portion. They also obviously do a piece at the school and also at WPCA. But this is the town's piece.
When are those proposals being?
We actually were gonna talk about the potential of extending King and King one more year. But that's just something that's in discussion and then going out to bid. The focus recently has been on the budget, so that
Okay.
hasn't been launched.
Okay.
Okay, we got 3 more in. Are there any citizen comments on either the Finance Department, the Historical Society, or the Board of Finance budgets? Okay. Any other business? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Dave motions to adjourn. A second.
Second.
Nikki seconds twice. That's a lot. Thank you.
Only
Nick.
because I'm afraid you're gonna ask me the question about the Historical Society again, so come on, close.
Okay.
So our next meeting is the 19th, correct?
Monday.
That's correct.
Yep.
Monday the
All right.
19th, and then
And then we're
Thursday
not
the
meeting
22nd.
we're not meeting on our 22nd.
We are meeting on the 22nd.
We are
We're not
meeting on the
meeting
22nd?
We're not meeting on the 15th, Brian.
15th, okay. I gotta make sure I get all my calendar. We got so many dots in my calendar. I
Yep,
can't
Next
keep
year,
track of
next
it.
week's Monday, Thursday, 1922.
And,
All right.
And is the town hall gonna be open for the meeting then, even though it's not open during the day?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
You can.
yes.
The answer is yes. For you, Nikki, it'll be open.
Thank you. So excited. I much prefer to see you all in person.
Yes,
Oh, we enjoy seeing you.
thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
All right,
Meeting's
night, everybody.
adjourned.
Now
Good
you're-
night.